Hey guys, let's talk about food and bodies and other such fun things. I am going to share this. Sometimes it's good to mix it up. So I wanted to go live here in this group tonight. Creation of Living. Hey, Becky. Hi, Juliana. Hey, guys. How are ya? It's about to get really cold in Colorado. Hey, Rebecca. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good evening from Colorado. We're about to have a major snowstorm and cold snap, which is actually great because we need snow. We need moisture here from all the fires. So let's chat about bodies and food. This is something that it's one of those things, it's kind of like, money, the topic of food or the topic of bodies. It's like your body is always there. It's always with you, and every day it's like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to feed it? Are you not going to feed it? Are you going to listen to it? Are you not going to listen to it? Are you going to listen to it in regards to food? Are you not? And so many of us that do access consciousness. Hey, Brandy, how are you? When I got into the tools of access and started playing with these tools, it was like, I realized, wow, there's so many conversations about how bodies are just completely different than what we think they are. And, a lot of times we basically create our bodies sort of according to this reality and according to like human reality, and in this way that like where you have the food groups and you have like all these decisions and definitions of what a healthy body even is, and what creates a healthy body, and how you create a healthy body, and blah 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 blah. But none of that there's no question anywhere in there as to what our bodies actually desire and require and would like to have. Like there's no sense of like connection to our bodies and curiosity with our bodies. And I'm doing this telecall series right now called Body Show Me. It's such a cool series that I've done a few times, and we're going through all of these different aspects of body stuff, like clothing and movement and food and creation and, all these different aspects of being present with our bodies, and actually like really asking our bodies to show us what it is that they desire and require, and having the vulnerability to actually listen to that and to follow it, which is it's actually quite a big choice to actually have the sense of vulnerability with our bodies, where we're actually willing to let them lead. And we had a call, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on food. The whole call was about food and really listening. Maybe it was more than 2 weeks ago, but anyway, listening to your body and letting your body show you, like really letting your body take the lead in terms of food and what it desires with food, what it would like to create with food, how it would like to create itself with food. And so often our bodies actually require something way different than what we're actually giving them. I know for me, like years before I started doing Access Consciousness years ago, I had so many different health issues. I had allergies, I had sleep problems, I had all these different things going on with my body. And I was trying to actually handle it with food. Ah, that's so awesome, Brandy. She says, presence with my body. The more I choose this, the more melting ease and space my body shows me. That's very cool. And I was like trying to handle all these health problems that I had with my diet. And I have done every diet that exists. I haven't done keto, but I've done everything else. Keto didn't even exist at that time, I don't think. But I was paleo and I was vegan and I was vegetarian and I was blah, blah. You know what? I mean, there aren't even names for some of the diets that I did. But it was all in this interest of like trying to like really cleanse my body and create a really healthy body and allow my body to like be, to thrive with, and not have allergies and not have all this other stuff that was going on. A lot of it was like the narrative of, I live in Boulder, Colorado, where there's a lot of points of view about health here and how we create health with our bodies. And it is so wild because that's actually so much more a point of view than even a awareness of what works for your specific body. And I wasn't really able to accomplish a lot of what I was hoping to accomplish with all of those different diets that I did. Some of them made me feel kind of better, but really the thing that actually changed my body and made all of the health problems go away and actually like to where now here I am, 10 years later or so, I guess it's been 10 years. So I'm almost 50 and my body is healthier and happier and more alive and vibrant in every way than it has ever been in my life. And part of that's also my point of view is that I can, like, my body gets greater every day, which is totally beyond this reality to have the point of view that your body can get greater every day rather than degenerate and age, so that's a bit of a story for another time, but woven into this whole thing, And so one of the things I started doing was just like destroying and uncreating all my points of view about food. And I needed to have organic and I couldn't have sugar and I couldn't have this and I was so structured and rigid around food that it was such a like, there's so much conclusion around it that I didn't have a presence. I did have a presence with my body, I must say. I've had that my whole life. I'm different in that way. But I also didn't have this real space of question with no point of view attached as to what my body actually desired, And so when I started letting go and going, okay, maybe sugar is something that my body requires. Maybe it doesn't mean that I have candida or I'm wrong or I'm addicted to sugar. Maybe it's something that my body actually requires, maybe, having a Coke is exactly what my body requires rather than, whatever I might think I need to eat. And I started just really listening to my body when it came to food, and my eating changed dramatically, and I wasn't eating quote unquote like as healthfully as I had before, but I felt better. My body was healthier. I never get sick. I don't even think about getting coronavirus. It's not in my world at all. I don't get sick, and I haven't for years and years and years. Before, when I was doing all these diets, when I was doing all these things, I was getting sick all the time. On top of, digestive problems and allergies and all this stuff. So a huge part of what changed it for me was actually changing my point of view about food and bodies and how they work and how they function, and actually seeing my body as this really different thing, this really different organism that isn't actually like other bodies, that is actually its own thing, its own organism of consciousness, basically, that has its own movement in the world and its own, what works for it is there's no judgments around that. Our bodies don't do judgments about food. And one of the things that I realized during that, like I have realized over the years is, and more all the time, and this is one of the things that's really up in my world right now that I wanted to talk about, is my body requires so much less food than I think it does. Still to this day. And a lot of us actually, we have these points of view that, you have to eat a certain amount or whatever, but actually a lot of humanoid bodies actually require, like bodies of people who are different, let's just say that, they like bodies of people who are actually like think a lot and move quick and are super ADD and super ADHD and super creative and judge themselves all the time. And, you know, those bodies of those people, like they're different, and our bodies are different. We function differently. Our bodies are different. And a lot of bodies of people like that don't actually require very much food. And so I started to play with this and go, okay, so even when I was hungry, I would ask, you know, okay, body, do you actually desire food right now? You know, it wasn't, oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat. It was, I'm hungry, do you desire food? And if you do, what? And let my body actually show me what that is. And it's been so amazing because I eat less and less and less and less all the time. And there's been this thing going on lately where I've been playing a lot with my body. I was taking up ice skating, and that's been really fun. And I'm like exploring all these like things that my body knows about skating, and like not just the lessons that I'm learning from coaches, but actually like what I just inherently know and the capacities of my body. Because our bodies have these amazing capacities that are not explainable or describable in this reality, but they are unique capacities to you and your body. And, you know, as we play with them more, they get to like come out more, you know. And we just had a 3-day body class here last weekend in Colorado. So the body classes in Colorado are these classes. You can do a 3-day body class, or you can do individual body process classes that are like, you know, a 3-hour class, where you explore the body processes and from access consciousness, and it's hands-on work, and you know, someone else puts their hands on your body and they ask for the energy of a particular body process, these particular energies, they run it on your body for an hour, hour and a half, whatever. And then you run it on them. And I'm just realizing this as I'm talking. I'm so glad I'm doing this Facebook Live. I'm totally facilitating myself right now. Because one of the things that's happened is this week, my body has been so different with food. And I'm a little like, I don't quite know, like I'm a little disoriented because I need to be more in question than I've ever been before. Part of that is because I did 3 days of a body class last weekend. And when you do these body classes, your body changes. And one of the gifts of the body processes is that they allow our bodies to be a part of the evolution of the species and the evolution of planet Earth and the evolution of like everything. Like we're evolving. The Earth is evolving. We're evolving. Our bodies are evolving. We don't think about that a lot. A lot of people don't think about that a lot because we somehow have taken on this weird idea that we're exempt from evolution, which is so hilarious because that's so not, the Earth never stops evolving and us as a part of it. So we can either evolve with what the evolution that's going on right now, which of course is, you know, there's a lot happening on the planet right now. We can either evolve with it and have immunity to viruses and have like increasingly healthy bodies and more spacious bodies and more capable bodies and bodies that have these capacities beyond this reality, or we can become extinct, quite honestly, you know. And I look at like the pandemic situation, and it's like, if like viruses, like the science is such that viruses actually get worse over time. Chandana, hi lovely. Viruses actually get worse over time. So as they get, you know, like we're not really creating immunity to this particular virus. We're creating separation from it, which, you know, I'm not going to go into a big thing about corona, but what I do know about viruses and evolution is that they get stronger all the time, right? So if we're not developing immunity to this one, the next one's going to be stronger, you know, and I don't see that like pandemic reality is really going to change a whole lot, you know. But so how do we deal with that? You know, well, we deal with that by evolving our bodies with these energies of the body processes and different choices that we make with our bodies and being present with our bodies and allowing our bodies to show us what it is that they know, what their capacities are, what they desire and require when it comes to the evolution of these amazing organisms that have a consciousness of their own. And part of how we do that is, I mean, there's a lot of ways, and we could have a whole conversation about movement. We could have a whole conversation about food. There's so many different conversations we could have about health and immunity, and but from a very different energetic point of view. But one of the things with food is that our bodies tend to not require a lot of food. What is possible for the evolution of our bodies that we've never been willing to acknowledge or choose? Great question. Great question. And this is where you got to be present with your own body, which is something that a lot of people are not so interested in, or maybe you're interested in it, but you're like, I really struggle with this, Presence with your body is, it requires a level of vulnerability that a lot of people sometimes don't know how to have, and that's not wrong. My body needs some water. That's not wrong, but where do you go from there, and part of it is choosing it and going, okay, I need to actually commit to this. There's something different being asked for here. So I just need to choose this and do whatever I can do to get present here with my body and what's going on. And that can, create a lot of change. The body processes can create a lot of change in our willingness to be present with our bodies, the access consciousness body processes. And you can get those in foundation class. You can get them in a body process class. You can get them in the 3-day body class. But what's so cool is, and I didn't really realize this until I started talking here, is like, wow, I did a 3-day body class last weekend, and my body is really, really different this week, and I have not totally acknowledged that yet. One of the things that has been going on is my body has been getting very full very fast. So I eat a little bit of food, which used to be for me like kind of an average amount of food, but a little bit compared to a lot of other people. And I'm like stuffed. I'm just like, oh, and I've had many days lately where I've eaten, like today, I had like a little teeny, I had like a half of a burger tonight. And I'm like, and that was like, I don't know, that was hours ago. That was like maybe 3-4 hours ago. I'm still really full, uncomfortably so, and I'm like, okay, I got to be asking more questions. I got to be more present here and more and more aware of what my body's actually asking for. One of the things that's showing up is my body actually, it's facilitating me. And I've been asking for this. I've been asking my body to show me a perfect sound effect for fullness. Emily, I know, right? I could do it because my body knows that very well right now. But this is maybe like the 3rd time this has happened in the past week. And so I'm like, okay, like tonight I was like, all right, this needs to change because I don't actually enjoy the sensation of being full. My body likes the sensation of space. Most of our bodies enjoy the sensation of space way more than they do of being full. And this is part of like the lightness and the play and the capacities of humanoid bodies is this like the lightness that our bodies can be, the space that they actually are. Our bodies are energy, space, and consciousness. They're not solidity. They're not these solid things. They're energy, space, and consciousness. And when we treat them as that, we regard them as that, we honor them as that, we approach them as that, we interact with them as that, then the play of what is possible with you and your body actually in creation is so dynamic and wonderful, because it's so different. But there's no information really out there that you can get about how your particular body functions. You have to choose a level of communion with it, and a level of presence with it, because the best resource for your awareness of what your body, like how to be with your body, basically, in such a way that creates greater, is your body. Your body is your best resource for knowing how to be with it. It can show you. It can show you. It's kind of like if you had a lover and your lover was like, can you please show me and tell me what it is that you enjoy, what it is, how you like to be treated, how you like to be touched, let's say in bed. How do you like to be touched, Now, the best person to let your lover know how to be with you in bed is going to be you, Now, that might bring up a lot of stuff, so destroy and uncreate. That's also a story for another time. There's a sex class coming up in a few weeks. But it's like, who else is going to tell your lover how to be with you other than you, And so same with who else is going to have a better, like, what else is going to be able to better communicate with you how to be with it than your body, and what to feed it and all of that. Shika says that's going on with me too. My body gets really full and bloated really fast, and it doesn't like that feeling of bloated. Yeah. So one of the things, I was having a conversation with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, recently, and I was asking him, like I like to see the comments on my computer screen. But we were talking about this, and he said, do you ask your body if it wants to eat? And I said, I do actually. And he said, okay, but do you ask it one bite or two? And I was like, oh my God, and that's what happened tonight. Like I was out and I'm coming home and I'm like, ooh, a burger sounds really good. I never ever eat a whole burger, like ever, like a half is really maximum for me. And so I was like, I'm going to get a burger on the way home. So I went to the place in my neighborhood, got a burger, came home, had half of it. And I didn't ask my body one bite or two, And I didn't really ask my body, do you want to eat? It was more kind of like, what sounds good? Like, what would be really yummy to have for dinner, because I enjoy food. Like, it's beautiful. It's yummy. It's delicious. Like, I didn't get McDonald's. I got like a gourmet, yummy burger, So it's sort of that, but I didn't actually ask my body. I was more like, if I'm going to have dinner, which sounds really fun and good, and I feel a little hungry, then what would I like to have? And it was, so, and I was thinking about it and I'm like, 2 bites, but 2 bites right now and I'm full, and there's a whole world of this. Like, this opens up a whole world because there's a lot of social stuff around eating, having meals with people, and what do you do there? And I really enjoy having meals with people. It's a beautiful way to have interaction with people and be social and like have a sense of connection and, just to like enjoy time, whenever you're sitting around a table. When do people sit around a table and just chat? You don't do that unless there's food involved, So for me, it's more the sitting around the table and chatting, and I like having my cocktails too, or wine or something yummy to drink. But I'm realizing more and more that my body really does enjoy liquids way more than the solid, more quote unquote solid food. And when I am having food, it's really less and less and less all the time. And I'm not willing to not honor my body. And I'm so grateful that my body is giving me such intense feedback right now, because it's literally like, listen, I'm full. If you're going to do this, like, I'm going to feel like this for hours, it almost feels like it doesn't digest, even though eventually it does. It's like, my body's just like, no, it's not fun for me. You may like the taste of it. You may like the action of it, but not fun for me, So there's this willingness to be different with that, and to sit at a table full of people and go, I'm not hungry, or I'm not going to eat, or I'm only going to eat 2 bites, or to buy a beautiful meal or make a beautiful meal and only eat a couple bites of it. And then go, you know what? I'm actually committed to honoring my body with this. So I'm actually not going to eat more, you know? I would rather, I mean, it's so funny. People have this point of view about wasting food. Well, what if the biggest waste of food is when you put it in your body when your body doesn't want it, you know? Like, why is it better to put food in your body when your body doesn't want it than it is to put it in the trash can, you know? That's a bit of an absurd point of view. I'd much rather put it in the compost or the trash or the fridge for later or whatever if my body doesn't want it. You know, wasting food to me is not a thing, you know. The way that I would waste food is by putting it in my body when my body doesn't desire it. And I'm having to adjust to this evolution. And part of it is also like our bodies then begin to get capable of living under lots of different circumstances. I mean, shit, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, you know, and there's all this economic stuff going on, and there's all these fires happening in the United States, and there's all these political things going on. Like, we don't know if we're going to have an abundance of food. There's a whole erosion and destruction of the soil on the planet right now. Now, would I love to see that be different? Hell yes, I would, you know. And could we actually create sustainable living on planet Earth if we did? Absolutely. Are we going to choose that? I am. And let's see, you know, if that actually gets created across the planet to such a degree that actually allows us to continue to live here, you know. So, and there's the movie Kiss the Ground, if you haven't seen it, amazing movie, and Life on Planet Earth. I think that's what it's called. I never remember the name of that. David Attenborough. Both of those are on Netflix. Amazing, amazing films about the earth and what's going on right now. But part of this is our bodies need to be able to evolve with whatever occurs. And so, and I don't mean this from like a doom and gloom, you know, but like there may be a point at which food is less available to us, you know. And so perhaps this part of not desiring food is our bodies knowing that, preparing for that and evolving toward that. Because for me, like even with having eaten a little too much this week, you know, like I don't eat very much food. I don't require very much food. I can be fine without food for long stretches of time. My body chooses that, actually. It's not because I can't afford it or I don't have it or it's unavailable. My body actually chooses that. And now it's choosing it apparently even more. So this is part of our bodies actually showing us like what they're capable of and participating in a way in the evolutionary process. And, you know, even if we don't if we don't require as much food, we're so much less of an impact on the planet. You know, there's that piece too of like farming and ranching. And so there's a lot of places where this conversation goes. And I just wanted to kind of toss some things out there and invite you to look at, you know, like what's true for you, what's true for your body, what works for you, what works for your body. Are you willing to be more in question with your body and be asking it, do you desire to eat? If so, if you do actually, and how do you know? You'll play with it. You know, your body, you'll get a sense of lightness, or sometimes you can play with leaning, like your body might lean forward if it's a yes or lean back if it's a no. But usually you just know. It's okay, yeah, no, I don't. Yes, I do, you know. And then, okay, so if you do, then what do you desire to eat? And then let your body show you. Let it actually lead the way in showing you what it would like to have. Because if you allow that, then what you can create with your body is absolutely phenomenal. This is a conversation. I did a class actually, I think it was a year or two ago. Time is so weird, but I think it was maybe a year ago, called Eating for Space. And it was a 30-day thing, and 5 minutes a day, videos for 30 days on really looking at, you know, how do we work with food? What if you could actually use food to create space in your body rather than actually solidity, you know? And it's available in my shop. I think it's just heathernichols.com/eating for space. But I'm actually going to be doing it as a 1-day class. It's going to be a live class and also online. the day after Thanksgiving in the US. No, not the day after, 2 days after Thanksgiving, because I just thought that was hilarious. I was like, that would be a really good time to have this conversation, because people stuff their bodies in the US on Thanksgiving. And it's always been a time for me where I'm like, I don't do these big meals, Thanksgiving and all that. Like, I'm just not that excited about big meals. Like, my body's like, can I have 2 bites, So it's always one of those holidays where I like do elaborate cocktails or something, or I do oysters or something really simple, because I know my body doesn't like that. We also get aware of each other's bodies too, and all the eating going on and all of that. So anyway, so it's going to be a 1-day class, Eating for Space. First time I'm doing it in this format. And I'm really excited about it, actually. I'll probably be following it up the next day with some body process classes. I haven't posted those yet, but it'll be here in Boulder in my home, and also online, so you can join on Zoom. The body processes are just live classes. But Eating for Space, a whole day of exploring your body and food, and what actually works, and what your body would actually like to let you know about all of that, and really cultivating and developing the willingness to listen, and not just listen, but also respond with an honoring of your body and intimacy with your body that goes beyond the form and structure of this is what my body needs, and the decision of this is what my body needs, and into this sense of, hey, this is a very different body. My body is very different. Actually, I'm also doing a telecall series called Sex and Bodies, which is a really great class. That starts in sometime in November as well. I don't remember exactly when, mid-November or maybe early, like the 10th or something. So that's a 4-part Zoom, Sex and Bodies, where we really go into the difference that our bodies are as well. So a lot of body play in the month of November, and an X-Men class where we, also can start to look at how different X-Men bodies are. And, it's just like this is information that isn't available anywhere. Like, I have never found this information anywhere until I came. And I've worked with bodies for 20 years, and I've been dancing my whole life, and like being present with my body in a lot of ways my whole life, and never have run across these conversations and tools until I found Access Consciousness. And the conversations with bodies and food and like embodiment are so different. And acknowledging the difference that we actually be, and then really letting our bodies show us how that's true for them as well. It's been such a gift, but it also requires this level of courage, willingness to be different, willingness to be the one sitting at the table going, I'm going to have 2 bites and then I'm done, or I'm going to have 1 bite, or I'm not going to eat because my body doesn't desire it right now. And sometimes even when our bodies are hungry, they still don't desire food. They actually tend to enjoy the sensation of space, but we don't give that to them. And it can feel like this big loss, of like, oh, but then I won't be able to, and then I can't. But what if the gain and what is actually available through this level of presence with your body is completely different than anything that you've ever had before? Our bodies know a lot about that if we're willing to listen. And presence with your body is not a popular thing in this reality. And yet, wow, it makes such a huge, just such a huge difference to actually be that and to commit to that. And then it really is this energy that kind of extrapolates and expands into every area of your life. Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, I think it's important stuff too, because we kill our bodies with food. We actually kill our bodies with food. And this is like, as I say that, I'm like, I did some of that tonight when I ate too much, like it's this sense of my body going, hey, like, I thought you liked living, it's like, okay. So I'm grateful because now I can choose something different so thank you all for being here, past and future, present and future, because I can also like, I've received so much from this conversation of like, oh, right, I did a 3-day body class and things are different now. That's how it goes, you know? So this ever expanding space of more space, more possibilities with our bodies, that allow us to really handle anything that goes on in the world. Any pandemic, any virus, any illness, any lack of food, any movement on the planet, like anything. We are equipped to handle that when we have these tools and use these tools with our bodies. It's fucking phenomenal and magical. And I'm so grateful for Gary Douglas and Dane here and the tools of Access Consciousness. So grateful, because these conversations wouldn't be available if it wasn't for them and for that. So how did we get so lucky? So thanks for being here with me, everybody. Love to play with you in some way, shape, or form soon. I don't even remember links and dates and all that stuff. So if you're interested in any of this stuff, it's on my website, heathernichols.com. Lots of really cool stuff coming up. And truly what space is available to you and your body with your body that you've not been willing to choose. And what if now is the time to actually choose it? So thank you so much, everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I hug you. I kiss you. I pinch your sweet cheeks. Thanks for being here with me. And gosh, I miss being in person with people. So I look forward to doing that. Well, in November, you could, if you live in the US, you can come to Boulder. So thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.